See the depreciation on the tuba
Thank you.
on there, and then
Thank you, Mr. Carson.
thank you. Hot lunches you'll see on there. We'll talk a little more about that in detail later on in the
Yeah.
board meeting. And then you'll see the other check register with, I call it pretty much Amazon anymore, because that's pretty much what it,
Yeah, the Visa bill.
most of it entails, on there, as well as, some other things for some trips, and some trainings and some conferences that, people have going on there. Then general fund, you'll see the receipts, versus compared to last year this time, biggest thing, just a little slower on the property tax receipts, than last year, so we'll see, what that looks like going forward.
I had a quick question on that,
Yes.
facilities and operations area. I know it's very similar to what it was last year. When do we typically use, what time of year do we use the most of that?
Summer.
Okay, so the
Usually
next couple of
fairs and
months,
things like
we'll
that.
use a lot more of
Yeah,
that.
a lot of it, so like operation of the building, usually, so that's a little bit higher in there because that's like electricity and other things throughout the year. So
Yeah.
a lot of that budget is spent already, but a lot of the other things too, when we're talking about seeding and we're talking about fertilizing, and then we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about all the repairs and if we have to do this and that, so. And there'll be a couple of the other things too coming up, but we don't have anything major this year, so it might
Yeah.
stay a little
I
bit
was
under
gonna say
budget
that,
there.
I mean, I hate to ask, but
No.
will we spend even more close to that?
We'll probably get up to 60, 65. So if you think about like that lever mechanism that I talked about in the finance committee meeting where we had budgeted like $195,000 to keep us where we needed to be.
Mhm.
We're not gonna have to spend anything out of that, so that will probably carry over, which is good.
We'll get to
for-
65%?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay,
by
that's a
this year.
lot of carryover.
But it's, not that far out of the ordinary if we don't spend that line item. You know, in years when we don't, like when we spent on the HVAC units, we paid for those a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
Then we got closer to like that 90 to 95% of it. And also remember too, that some of that is the staffing. So like a bunch of salaries and things like that since Christmas have not been coming out and we've, done that.
Is cleaning out of that?
so, yeah.
Operations of the building.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so there's a lot of different things that wraps into that, so yeah, we're just a little under, and we're not over budgeting. We're budgeting for what we need in kind of like worst case scenario.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing to always.
Yeah, it's hard
It's a
to
moving
see that
target.
always,
Yeah, it is.
but there will be more expenses that come out this summer, yeah.
Is that where, like, if we have a leak or anything, it comes out of them?
Yeah,
It's built in just in
Yep.
case, because we've had consistent
building
leaks
maintenance,
every
yeah,
couple years. Okay.
building maintenance, yeah, those types of things.
Sorry, I don't mean to speak it into existence.
Now we're getting a 5 inches rain.
It's a flat.
You might be an island again, Steve.
Yeah.
Just remember where you're at.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, next budget form's a newer one, pretty similar, to, where we're at as compared to last year. And then activity balances, last guy there, are pretty straightforward. Did anybody else have anything on all the financials?
I have 2, maybe 3 questions in activities balance areas. So with welding, the air gas comes out of general now.
Mhm.
So our year-to-date expenditures within welding are 0 because they're coming out of general expenses, or how does that?
Well, if they have welding projects, typically, and Aaron will probably chime in and help me there, so that pays for like the students' welding projects, and they're supposed to pay for the cost of their materials, so it gets replenished. So
So
I looked at
that's-
that one because it's not been on our radar, so
Yeah.
give me 1 second here.
I was gonna say, does that mean they're not
It's
having
0
any
that they
building
haven't-
projects?
Yeah,
Aaron, maybe you know more about it.
No, it's
too.
similar to the FCS funds, that some of the cost of that are because they're in welding class, and some of that is like just as we practice welding and things like that. I would say just in general, that everything that I took out for materials then, I took out of the general fund instead of out of there, so.
so like the class dues are going
It's
into
this
as
right here.
revenues, but the things that she's purchasing, whoever's purchasing, are
Yep.
coming from her general budget.
Yep.
Okay,
There are some things that maybe could have come out of there, just like FCS that we balance out.
yeah, it's just hard to,
Uh-huh.
yeah, hard to manage. I think those are kind of all the same with that one, family consumer sciences, and then, industrial tech and woods, that's a negative, should that be a negative? Negative $461.31.
Unless we bought some stuff for two.
Which one is that? I can't.
It's like,
It's hard.
literally in the
Source code
middle,
It's hard to-
yeah,
There it is.
it's like literally in the middle of the page.
So we probably,
Do we have reimbursement?
we
It's
put
not-
something probably got reimbursed back in there, and so
Okay,
just,
so I'm like,
yeah,
A credit.
why does that one say
So,
negative?
yes.
Yeah, that just caught my
Well, it was-
attention.
Sometimes
It's
the
just,
accounting, doesn't always look the same when you do the report. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing we had to put some money back in there for something, and then it became a negative.
Gotcha.
But the account itself is not negative.
Yeah,
Just the
no, it's
year-to-date
just that one
expenses.
thing, it's, I was like, why is it like
Just
that?
the year-to-date.
It's a number thing.
Okay.
Last thing then for
Yeah,
the
we
most
do.
part, sorry,
I wonder if we got something for the shed or something,
That's
or
probably what it was.
We got back or
we got,
something.
and we got some payment for the shed that we brought back from
So
Skills.
it's
Skills,
just
so
it
there's-
offset the,
yeah, I can't wait for that
I don't
to
know.
be here, just throwing that out
So
there.
he's revenue generating, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that.
doing good.
Look at
And
that.
hopefully it'll be
For their
out
funding,
away from
so-
my house, that would be cool too. The last thing I had was that wellness for the district,
Yes.
the like the revenues versus the expenses on that.
Yeah.
But I saw that we're gonna talk about that later, correct?
Well,
The
no,
wellness?
no, the two are really not interconnected.
Okay.
The wellness assessment, so this is a fund that, the money that we get for our staff, like completing wellness challenges and things like that through EHA, which is our Blue Cross Blue Shield
Got
throughout
it.
the year.
Yeah,
So they, if we get a certain level of participation, they send us money.
okay,
And then we can determine how that's going to be spent back on wellness activities throughout the school year. Some of it is required to be given back to the teachers if they make
Mhm.
purchases, and some of them fund activities.
gotcha.
So you carry forward, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
and then just you did some extra wellness
Yes,
activities.
Yes, we had gotten a grant, a little bit of a small grant.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning of the year from something else through EHA,
Mhm.
and we purchased shirts.
Oh, fun.
So that was probably the difference there.
Cool beans.
Okay.
Okay, that's it
All right,
for me.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
All right.
All right, deal.
Hey, Cass, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Chase Gradville,
Yes.
Brian Locker,
Yes.
Steve Slydice,
Yes.
Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Foster.
yes.
All right, motion carries. And agenda item 4.1, the principal reports, Mr. Shada.
Good evening. This is the time of year you get the big activity report from everybody. So sorry, I thought landscape would look better in my end. It turns that way. Sorry, I thought it would be better
You
for you
gotta
to read.
rotate those. Jen has a fancy way of scanning them, so you don't
Well, I
have to
printed,
adjust
I'm
it.
sorry.
She can
So
teach you.
I can just give you the highlights of it. I wrote it up for it. Activity. So remember we distinguished between activity and athletic participation throughout the year. And so our girls were down 6%. Sounds like a big number, but we're talking about a couple kids there for activities. But we still had 73% of our girls in activities. Our boys were up to 69%, so that's up 2%. So really good participation there. And you can see in the reports file our activities back there that's behind this report that a lot of kids doing a lot of great things, which you heard about all year. Then the athletic participation, middle school was down a little bit to 77%. They were at 85 last year. And then high school wise, the girls went from 72 to 66, so we're down there a little bit. And the boys stayed the same. They were both at 69% across the board there. So I don't have any, as I went back and looked, and that's why I try to keep several years there. We have done this for the last 10 years. We have a couple of years where we shoot off the map and look amazing, and then we have a couple of years where a lot of kids maybe getting jobs, doing things outside of school. They're not just sitting at home, and so they're just maybe not involved here. So when that's a couple percentage points, it looks like, oh, what happened? We're talking about a couple kids changing what they want to do. So that's in general what it looks like there. And then as an admin team, I always like to use this number because I appreciate our admin team. We covered 325 different events this year, team. So thank you. That's like
Feels about right.
Most of us at every night of the week out of 179 student days, so. Besides that, there's a report from everybody, so if you hopefully got a chance to look through there, some great numbers and good reports from everyone, so. Questions on those things?
You got a couple of TBAs on the coaches.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Are those not gonna be filled, or are you waiting to fill them?
We're working on filling those currently. Yeah. So some of those, Chase, are working with the head coach of that sport, like, hey, who are you looking at that's maybe internal that would like to fill that? A couple of the spots are out of district, and so they don't work for us, like, hey, I can't come back, job change. So we're working on filling all of those from there. So we will have them filled by the time those seasons come around there, so.
I just have a question on the video board update that we've gotten.
Yeah.
So I saw that there was, I think, there's 4 new ones. Are any of those, they're just conversations, or have any of them gone forward with payment?
It's like a funny question, like in a good way. So like,
Yeah,
we get, so like, some of you probably saw my message at the end of the school year, like, hey, we are looking to fill it up, and had a lot of great responses, and then people are like, yeah, I'm interested, it's gonna be Labor Day weekend though, get back to me. So then they get back to me like, oh, work got busy, get back to me again. So we have this
yes.
phone tag.
Mhm.
And so like today, for example, I talked to a gentleman he seems to be very interested. We talked 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
He's like, I've just been swamped. I think tomorrow's an office day, I'll try to call you. So we get that quite often,
Yeah.
Cassie. So,
Yeah.
And then some of them, you kind of get excited and then you just get crickets. You're like, yes, you're not interested. I won't bother you. You're a patron of our district. I won't be a thorn in your side either. So,
Yeah,
so we've had some good action on a couple of them. So.
Good.
Well, that's being Midwest nice in sales. When they're doing, they don't want to say no,
Yes.
so they say, I'm interested, talk to me later, but they never have to tell you no.
yeah.
I need your help, Chief.
It's-
I need your
yeah.
help. I need your help.
I force no's out of people because it's okay to tell me no.
Yeah.
I'm big, I can handle it.
Right.
So you really do run into that problem in the Midwest. Now, when
Oh,
we're at the East Coast, they love to tell you no.
Yeah.
But here, it's a real thing because they will string you along. So
Well, I'll take your advice. I'll just say, hey, if you're
Yeah.
at work right now, just
Yeah.
feel free to tell me.
It's
I'll-
fine.
I
I'll
won't
call.
keep reaching out every 2.5, 3 weeks.
And it's not being
Yes.
rude
Yep.
on your part.
Okay.
It's because that will give them some closure too. They're just afraid to say no.
They're waiting for the
Mhm.
next phone
Yeah.
call.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I did see a couple of them. We received the funds from Memorial Community Hospital, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. I was just checking because it says they plan to send us first payment this week.
Oh,
I'm
they're
like,
not. Sorry,
it's been like that for 3 months,
Working
so
at the
I'm
bottom
hoping
of
we
it.
actually got that.
Yeah, no, we can.
Perfect. Okay, great. Glad
So to date, just we reviewed the sheet, we have $282,500 today. And there's only one more anchor sponsor to fill. The others are filled and overfilled, the other spots. but the
Is-
lower levels.
Is Harvard buying those scoreboards?
They did. They came and got them. We got the check. They actually paid in advance. And so I
Okay.
got picked up and they're going. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Other than that, there's a lot of content in Mr. Schrader's report. You could talk for hours about it.
Yeah.
I will let you read it. I won't.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
It's
I
fun to
would,
look through.
if anybody has any specific questions on anything, just, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Schrader. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Mhm.
That's the best way to say it.
I don't think I'd ask if you take a minute to look through. They do a nice job trying to give you a year summary within about a page-ish, which is kind of tough for some of the folks.
Funny, yeah, very good for them. It's not a page.
Some are a little longer.
Yes,
Yeah,
but it's great. It means they're doing good things.
Actually, this is a good time. Mr. Shada, I know, usually during the summer, in the past, we've talked about activities. We looked at activities and athletics and offerings and stuff. Since you're here, is there any new activities, new sports or athletics, we should be on the lookout for? And then follow up to that question, is there any that we're currently offering that due to participation numbers, we need to reevaluate? I know we kind of talk about it roughly every year, every 2 years about that.
So is your first question, like, is the NSA saying this is now a sanctioned sport? those are offerings out.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, we talked about unified sports
Mhm.
we've jumped into that more so here lately. Just, is there something that, you're looking at or we're maybe talking about adding or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I mean, and I don't like to speak in like what ifs. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
growing, emerging sports out there that
What's emerging, Mr. Shada?
Well,
this
it's
is a fancy term that people in the world I live in like think it's gonna like go up. So, for example, in states around us, they've added girls flag football as a
That's the
sport.
one I was gonna ask about.
So,
Oop, there
it
it
has
is.
not crossed our gate yet in Nebraska, but it's coming. And that's a process, and so that's for sure about a year at the fast track, if not a 2 to 3 year.
And when, just for us to know, what season would that be?
That's a great question. It would be determined by the state that they participate in, and so,
It's 1 of 2, obviously. It's got to
Right.
be fall or spring.
yeah, I'm gonna guess it's a spring sport in some of these things. I don't know.
It would just be challenging to
This fall
share
would
the
be
football
horrible.
field.
Correct.
Because you already make girls pick between softball and
Yeah, we don't need another offering in the
And
fall.
cross
They have
country.
4 options in the fall.
Yeah, it's for sport in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Well,
we would,
the
I think-
university is starting to offer that, or in 28, they'll be
yes.
playing it, so
Yeah.
visibility is
Yeah.
gonna jump
Yeah.
a great deal.
It's to say it makes me nervous is like a real thing. I mean,
Yeah,
not that we can't make a decision as a community and a school district, but it's
but how many different ways are we gonna pull these kids?
correct, yeah. Yeah.
And they are here to learn.
Yeah,
Which
Yeah.
obviously athletics are super important in doing
Yeah.
that, but if they're doing 8 different things, I mean, there's some kids that could do 2 sports in one season.
Yep.
How do,
In junior high.
at what point is that too much, you know?
Yeah, well, you can only do that in junior high, and that's the good news. You're
Right.
not allowed to participate in 2 sports in one season.
It's not NSA sanctioned. You can't.
Yeah,
you
if
could
you're doing
do
club, yeah.
Trench shooting is a club and you
Yeah.
can run
There's
track
Or
and
you
so
do
can
all
many
those
do-
things.
Yeah, you can do.
We've had kids do like rugby for, that
It
was
just
kind
can't
of
be
popular
in
a
the
few
same
years back.
club in the same season, so you can't be in club volleyball and NSAA volleyball at the same time, they have to be opposite seasons,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right, I forgot about club.
Okay, so your second question, Jason, can you ask that again? Now I lost it.
Is there any activities or athletic sports that due to participation, we may have to look at reevaluating offering?
That's a good question. A couple of years ago, yes, but like we have really picked up steam and like both our golf teams have had 10 plus boys and girls out playing golf. And so that's really good. And we've had a good nucleus of adding a few freshmen every year. So I don't see that. The one that we co-op with that we paid for one student, one boy and one girl is soccer. I don't know, but then again, we only have to pay for the co-op if we have a kid commit to that. And so we had a record number of like 10 swimmers this year and quite a few of them. I graduated a couple, but we didn't graduate all of them either. And so to answer your question, no, I don't see that. And I haven't been, unless they have you guys, I haven't been approached about adding anything either from anybody. Usually this is that time of year where you get a phone call from a mom or dad saying, hey, can my kid do X, Y, and Z? So.
Awesome.
All right. Dr. Morgan.
Yes, on the elementary side, we just finished up our 6th grade business. They did it a little differently this year. In years past, they've done kind of 6th grade business the last like couple weeks of school where it's chaotic and they go through creating a product, marketing and putting it out there. They did it kind of year long this year and they did temporary eagle tattoos and they sold them at some football games, some basketball games, and then they did kind of a final blowout sale at half price at the end of the year to get rid of the inventory. And they did very well. So the money that they earn from that goes back into Always for Kids, which funds their field trip that they go on at the end of the year. And they go to the Illuminary, which I think is lower down. But that was good stuff there. We did have our celebration days, had some bounce houses. We had another silent disco. That's a picture there of our kids at the silent disco. If you've never done a silent disco, it is super fun and also super funny because people are listening to different music and you would never know if someone is rhythmically challenged because everybody's bouncing to their own beat, so it's pretty fun. And they sing really loud.
Yeah, it's also
because
not
they can't
silent.
tell that everyone
Screaming.
else is,
They're
so it's like random screaming of different songs at different times. It's
How
fun.
do they
do they?
So they get, well, this one is specific for schools, so it only plays like kid appropriate music, but they have like 3 stations. And so when you're looking at their headphones, they're either like green, red, or yellow, and so that's the station that they're on. So you can tell, but they can click through to the next station if they don't like that song.
Demon Hunter music and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
K-pop.
K-pop.
Very familiar, yes.
Oh.
Yep,
Yes, yes.
Yep, all the good stuff.
Got it.
6th grade graduation, we had 46 graders this year. Was one of our smaller classes. They're popping on through and going to middle school, so yay for them, good work. We had our 4th annual talent show, good stuff there. We have some pretty talented kids and it's fun to watch them do all the things that they do, so good stuff there. Did have track and field day. In track and field day, K-2 does more of a fun field day where they do potato sack races and 3-legged race and balloon tosses and whatnot. And then 3rd through 6th, it's more of a traditional track meet, and so they get to do all of that good stuff there. And then end of the year luncheon, which we have done the last few years here, and these 2 lovely gentlemen grill, handsome gentlemen, I don't know, whatever, these gentlemen grill, I don't know,
Those guys.
these guys right here, they grill, and it was a bit windy. It was a bit windy that day. There was, I mean, you had a little extra grit to your hot dog, but it was
You had
fabulous.
to like hang on tight to that paper plate, because the wind caught you when you came around the corner.
It went,
Yeah.
it was good stuff
Anyway,
there.
it was a challenge.
Always fun. And the last 2 things there, I did not last month, have our Eagle of the Month for April, so there are our April and our May recipients. So there they are. You know, Mother Lori, so good stuff. Any questions?
Great.
All right, Mr. Finkston.
That's-
Mine's a little more business-like.
No pictures.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, I feel
We gotta talk about the order of this, though. Maybe we need to bring the fun at the end.
We will. We had all our fun in May for graduation, and you were all aboard of that and signed diplomas and all that fun, so that was a good deal. So, FBLA is going to nationals, so we're taking 25 this year. They're going to San Antonio, so you see Mrs. Coder's vehicle up here working with those students all the time here in June. We got summer school and extended school year going on, so Mrs. Googles and Mr. Dobson are providing support in those areas over the summer. And then you will see handbook updates in June now, so I tried to capture the updates on here so you can see specifically what was changed. No big things, added headphones, earbuds to really the intent of an iPod policy was because they're listening to music type of thing. I'd say something that'll be, this one right here is eliminating wearing spandex style shorts in our dress code.
It's the volleyball length.
Yeah.
That's getting out of hand.
And then we didn't have simple things like passing the course for the promotion and retention section, like for high school, like to earn credits. So there were some different things like that. Another thing that you'll see is we bumped a lab fee for foods because of some of the things that we talked about to $25. And then because of our introduction to sports medicine class, they go through a lot of tape and a lot of supplies like that that are not a take home with you type of thing, whatever else. It's a part of what they're doing. So we're including a lab fee for $20 for sports medicine class. The main cost of that is tape. They learn taping ankles and supporting shoulders and different things like that. So teacher handbook is pretty much just an update, honestly.
Mr. Finkston, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole on this. I'm just
Okay.
really curious. On the volleyball shorts, is that due to the length? Because obviously yoga pants
Yep,
are
It's
the,
fun.
it's the length.
okay.
Yeah.
If it's easy for you, I asked him to add that in because we were continuously sending junior high and high school girls to the office or to the locker room to change their clothes. And they don't. And then they say, but I can pull them down. Like, no, it's, yeah.
I'm fine, as long as it's due to the length and not the
Yeah.
other, because
Yeah, no, it's due to the
then
length.
you're talking about the same thing. That's the only
It's
reason I was
length.
clarifying.
It's due to the length.
Yep, got it.
Is the length then like specified somewhere?
That's what we're saying, shorts.
Okay, so it's kind of discretion.
No,
No?
Didn't used to be, there used to be,
The,
there
it
used to be
says in the
specific.
handbook.
Yeah,
that
there's
length-
specific
Oh,
length.
It's like,
in the
there's like, it
handbook.
has to be X amount.
And inseam,
Length.
that's at least this.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, like different inseam lengths, like, well, how do you prove that the inseam is indeed
Correct.
3 inches
Yeah.
when it's all the way tucked up over the top of the thighs? or
Yeah.
whatever. So some of it has to be up to our discretion as well
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
If it's an offensive length, we just ask them to change.
Makes sense. One,
short.
oh yeah, they are short.
Well, and the inseam will be something, and then we roll the tops and whatever too, so it's fine,
It's so fun.
it's fine.
I noticed the lab fees for a couple of items, but not for a couple of others.
Which other ones?
Changes,
Woods. That
changes
was,
or adding?
changes. So I remember that being a thing last year, that it was what was in the handbook and what was actually being charged didn't match, so we went with what was in the handbook. This is,
I did
this
not
is
check
prior
on that.
knowledge,
Yeah.
sorry. But I did not see that in there,
Okay.
so.
I will
We'll
follow
double
up
check
with that
too,
one.
because we
Yeah.
have to have a student fees policy hearing in July, just the annual hearing, and I know that the index of that also includes a fee, so
Okay.
we'll make sure that.
Just to
they're
make,
saying
because I just
all
remember that being one of the
prices.
things, because the students were,
Yep.
last year had to bring in their materials, and then they didn't wanna do that, so they just didn't do anything. So, that was fun.
I will do that,
Cool.
thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Moving on to agenda item 5, superintendent's report. Quite a few things on here.
Yeah.
Dr. Lewis, if you wouldn't mind doing the IRS one last.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll begin with a review of the triennial assessment of our wellness policy results. So, every 3 years, we have to compare our wellness policy to a model policy. So I'm just showing you the steps that we have to go through, and I did not, include all of the steps, because these were like lengthy documents to me. But so basically, we had to analyze our wellness policy and procedures compared to what the policy was, like the mandated one, and I got to rate us in all of those areas. So we got the 1, the 2, the 0. So our policy complies with the regular policy there, the sample model. 2 is the assessment of our progress towards implementing all of those things and all of the statements that we have in there. So basically taking all of the things out of our policy that are required and providing the evidence in here. So this was copy and pasted. So like the one that was in there that was difficult for us was all of the literature for the hot lunch materials being displayed in K through 6 classrooms. So some of them are partially met, and most of them are fully met. So there's just a few things like that. If you can scroll through there, this is submitted to the NDE, so they will take it from there. What they need is for us to just be making progress every time. And a lot of this is comparing our policy to our practice and then in the classroom too. So like the next one there that says partially, it was about recess. So elementary is fine, they get recess, they get breaks, and we don't use physical activity as punishment. Middle school, we're compliant, most areas like PE and everything like that, but they don't have that physical activity or recess during the lunch period, and the same with high school. So the team and I talked today about how we could find a way to incorporate some physical activity and some recreation kind of space for them during middle school and high school lunch, which is kind of a challenge because those spaces are getting used by other things.
Does they get that walking back and forth at class? All right.
They didn't say you can count that, so anyway, you can just kind of scroll through and read all of that. Step 3 was the policy reporting. So that's where we're doing that here. We're reporting it here. These are the people that are on our wellness committee that meets 4 times during the school year, so every other month. And then here's our results that are connected to there. So this document will also has been sent to the NDE as well already. But, and as soon as Dan returns, it will be posted on our website, and then this is our public report to you here this evening for that. And then there's step 4, this is the, just our requirement, so probably didn't need to see all step 4s, but just so you have an idea of what that review looked like.
Dr. Lewis, just because it's jogged my memory, I know we talked about it months ago. They do this out west beef program.
Yep, beef in our schools, the
Yep.
local beef, yeah.
Have we looked into that at all?
So we have gotten some beef from Cattleman's, which our new head cook this last year is very open to. In the past, I had brought it up with our former food service director, and she was not interested in
Okay.
that. So since the time you and I talked about it,
Yeah.
I mean, I know how the programs are run, but I haven't had a chance to talk with Jenny
Okay.
about that yet. She's kind of new and it might be overwhelming at this point in time, but
Okay.
I'll talk to her about it and see. And then that would be really up to the way most schools run that organization is it gives an opportunity for your ranchers to donate cattle, and then you have to take them, or they have to be taken and processed at a USDA approved facility,
Yep.
and then you can use them
Yep.
in your lunch program.
Right.
Okay, anyone have any more questions about that? Okay, my lead blog is attached there, you can go through that, it just details, that's gonna take us to the end of, June, which is the second year of my contract begins July 1st, so. I will be available if I need to come up and do a couple of things in the next couple of weeks, but for the most part, I will be off. Your NASB and NERCSA reports are attached as well. I will skip ahead and talk about hot lunch here. So the hot lunch fund, I'm likely going to have to, and I have an email out to Bryce Wilson, but due to food costs kind of escalating this year, we have not yet, but by the time we wrap up the fiscal year, we'll have overspent our lunch budget. So what we're going to do then, what you have to do at that point in time is like republish the budget and amend it before the end of the year. So we'll just have to increase the amount that we budgeted to spend. And then salaries are right on target, benefits are right on target, but the exploding cost of food this year. So, it's not too far over now, but by the time we pay the June bills, and then we'll have to supply in August for the school year as well, so there'll be more food costs, so. I'm trying to get ahead of that. We do have a transfer as well. If you notice back on our balance sheet, we're down $14,000 in the hot lunch fund, and with no funds coming in during December. We still have a month of expenses that are basically to pay for, and then whatever happens in June. So we will I would request the board to approve the budgeted for transfer that we had planned. Anybody have any questions about that? So look for another budget hearing as soon as I get the details from Bryce, we have to do that. A budget hearing, and then we can approve the amended budget hopefully in July or August. We have until the next one is due, so we have until September 1st to do it. All right, the fun one. So the IRS penalty. So this was incurred in 2021 for our 2020 filings. So the 1095s, I believe it was the first year that they were required to do an online upload. And nobody really knows because the previous bookkeeper is no longer here who would have done that upload. The IRS, probably a year and a half after that would have occurred, started sending notices to us that that had not been done. That your people didn't receive their 1095s, which wasn't true, and that they hadn't received our 1095s, which we could find no real evidence that they hadn't been, but also that they had been uploaded. So for 4 years, so when that all happened, and I'm going to apologize to you for not communicating this on a regular basis, but it's simply because there was no action to be taken. We sent all of the required documents that they said as soon as we got the first notice. Many of you were not on the board yet, so the conversations happened with the past president. And the conversations we had with him were, well, just keep me updated, let us know how it's going. And there really was no communication from the IRS other than we can see that this office is working on it. We can see that there's a case open. We can see that all of these things are happening. And Jen was able to get that reduced from, at one point in time, it was nearly $180,000 down to the 102 that we ended up having to pay. We are also going to file an abatement and try and get some of that back, but the legal advice that we got when we finally got the notice, and Jen, did you say it was April when they told you, hey, hold off, don't do anything yet? That was the last time they
That
told
was the
you
last.
that.
Communication I had for the phone with them.
Yeah, but they said we can see that there's still a case open, so don't do anything. Then all of a sudden we got the letter. We got the letter, it was dated May 12th. We received it probably a week after that. And it had a pretty hard deadline on there. So we talked to NDE, I talked to Bryce Wilson, Jen talked to not our school auditor, but another auditor who's been helping us with it. And we talked to our legal counsel and they said, it looks like you're gonna have to pay it by the deadline, or they'll seize your levy. So we made that payment. It was ugly. We've been battling it out for years.
Was the discussion about, was there ever discussion about doing an appeals hearing?
No, our lawyer did not even suggest an appeals hearing.
Did she say why? Did they say why?
She said due to the amount of, I think she just suggested that we pay it due to the amount that, I didn't have any evidence that it got filed.
Okay.
Like,
We could not go back into records and find any documentation the previous business manager had actually done what was supposed to be done.
Okay. Dr. Lewis, you mentioned that the employees received their 1095.
We know that they got printed off and they got handed their copies.
Okay, so dumb question. Would they have received those if it was or wasn't filed?
It could have been both. I mean, they could have received the paper copy and then not gotten uploaded properly to the IRS website. So yeah, there's a possibility that both of those statements
So
are true.
just speaking from what has to happen.
Yep.
There are two steps there. The employees and the staff members receiving those files, there's two ways, they're paper and they're electronic in their payroll access.
Yep.
So that is one step. That is the step that then gets the things to your employees. The second step is it has to be submitted to the IRS, which is a totally separate step.
Got it.
That you have to do
Got it.
separately from getting it to your employees.
Got it.
So there is the evidence that yes, the staff got them because they are in there electronically for us to still view.
Yep.
And I just know that I had gotten mine, so I know that they've been received from the staff. It
Got
was me sending it to the actual IRS and uploading it that way. But
Yeah.
And we know that the file was created like January 27th. They would have been due on the 30th. So we know the file was created. We just don't know if that was the file that was uploaded to the employee access system and then printed and handed to people, or if that was the file that was uploaded, you know what I mean? So there's no evidence from IRS that says confirmation we received this or anything like that, but we can see that people received it.
And then a follow-up question on
Mhm.
that. Since I'm assuming it's still electronic submission, they didn't go back.
yes,
So when you do that submission now, Jen, do you receive a confirmation?
yes. So you initially go in, you have to create this specific file. It goes in, you upload it, you get a confirmation saying it has been successfully uploaded to the IRS.
Yep.
You have to go back and go in and make sure that they approve it and take it.
Okay.
So if they don't approve it,
Yep.
then you have to go in and re-upload a different file. So yes, there is the initial confirmation and then there is the approval for
Gotcha.
taking the file. So
Okay, and then just for the board to understand, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different, besides you, Jen, receiving that confirmation, we know, like, when we do our audit yearly, do we have a process at all to, hey, yep, look at a second person getting eyes on it, so there's not one point of failure, I guess?
So the auditor does take a look to make sure that all of that stuff is, that I have a record of that, so I just keep it in a binder that shows, here's a copy of everybody's 1095, here's my confirmation that it was
So
uploaded,
the auditor
here's my
does look at it.
approval of, yes.
Okay,
I believe that, yes, they take a look at all that stuff and say, okay, yep, this was all submitted, like, where's your
got it. So
IRS
did the
records?
auditor miss this in 2020?
I don't know.
If we go back, and that was a previous
I know it was a
auditor as
previous
well, too.
auditor.
Previous auditor, previous bookkeeper, I don't know if they asked for it, I don't know.
So here's the
Because
little
they don't
bit of
ask
tricky
me
piece
for
as
those
well.
things.
That was, I believe that was the first year that they allowed you
Do
to
that.
upload that specific form. Since then, it's a requirement.
Got it.
That started like in 2022, I believe, that you have to, if you have so many X amount of employees, you have to submit it online. Before you did not have to submit it online. So there may not have been a question asked of whether or not it was uploaded because you didn't have to.
Got it. And then two more questions. Did our IT look through the computer files if they're available of our previous bookkeeper?
We have
So
access to.
I have access to all of those
yeah.
files, and I cannot find
Okay.
anything that shows that there's anything that shows me that that was actually
And-
submitted.
When you receive your confirmation, is that via email?
Yes.
Did we look through the email, all the
Her
email?
email is no longer, like, I didn't
It's not
ask her.
archived?
I have no idea.
We can check with Dan,
Yeah,
that'd be the
yeah,
last
check
piece,
with
and that
Dan.
might help with payment. I mean, it doesn't change the fact whether it was done or not, but we
I
can
didn't-
see.
I didn't think
If
about
there's
it like that.
if there's a confirmation in there, that would dispute the IRS's
Mhm.
standing. That's the
Yes.
only reason I'm asking.
The confirmation,
The
but
confirmation.
that wouldn't prove
No,
that it
no,
went
I'm
back
sorry.
and was
There is-
approved.
You still have to go in and get that final approval. That is not emailed to you. You have to go in and double check and make sure that
But that's on the IRS's end for the approval, correct?
yes, that you have to go in.
The
and
issue
check.
here is their IRS is claiming they never received.
They're claiming that the upload was never,
Yeah,
that
so
they
if we
never
can
received
prove the
the
upload
files.
happened, then it's on the IRS's end.
Yes, yes.
That's the only.
That's what we've been
Yeah.
working on,
Yes.
that's what Jen's been working on for 4 years, that's what we sent all the file of everything that
The
we had
email
to our
archive is just my
attorney.
question.
Yes, we'll talk with that, yes.
Okay,
Yes, that's
and
one more
then-
piece we can check, yeah.
with the attorney now going through abatement, what does that process look like?
She writes an abatement letter,
Yep.
and it's something that we then turn into the IRS, is
Sure.
my understanding. And so we ask them to reconsider. Say we had to pay these fees, and she'll craft that, yeah, we have not seen the letter, and she was around doing conferences last week, so she apologized for being out of the office, but we should have that letter soon, and I can share that with the board and let them see what that looks like.
Okay, and then lastly, so it's on the record, where do this six-figure fee, where do those funds come from?
Well, they came out of the general fund.
Okay.
And they came out of the fees line item, then we used the code that, so, that necessary cash reserve, that elusive line item that sits in our budget every year, and so it's gonna come out of carryover, it's gonna come out of necessary cash reserve. And then it's coded to like fees and penalties.
So where does, so it's outgoing for us from that fund to the IRS.
Yes.
Where does the incoming come from, the funds?
We don't receive funds from the IRS.
No, what's the source, how are the funds generated for what we use to pay for this?
It'd be tax dollars.
It's, yeah,
That's
it's
my
it's just our
question.
general
Yeah.
fund budget, yeah.
It'd just be from the general fund.
Yeah, that's, we have many sources of revenue.
It's not
that-
special education funds, it's not IDEA,
Yep.
it's not, I guess it could be like, but the revenue code doesn't line up with, an expenditure code. So, your motor vehicle fees and all of those different state, county, local resources. So there are fines and fees that come from the state, and it's tax dollars that come from the state, and
Yep.
so all of those revenue sources that will bring the budget together.
Did anybody else have any questions on that?
Was one of the reasons you got it abated slightly was because they first claimed we didn't send them in, and you were able to prove, no,
When you
we,
get
or
it
we didn't hand them out, I mean.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
we
so
did.
yes,
We got half of it.
the initial penalty, fines, all that stuff was that huge amount.
Right.
And then, I finally got to somebody who could kind of walk me through it, and I, told her what, I need help, like, what am I supposed to do here? And so, she said to send everything in, which I did. So then proving that they were actually, there were forms, that the employees did receive forms, like, here it is. Here's the paper copies of these forms. Yes, dropped it down to a lesser amount.
Hey, Jen, real quick, and I know this is a short turnaround between their letters. In their letter dated October 17th of 22, they said they haven't received a response.
That might have been the first.
That was their second letter.
So yes, and that's when I called back and said, yes, I sent this stuff in, here it is.
Got it.
And there was
It was a short delay.
there was a
Turnaround.
long line of emails and hours spent on the phone, like, here's where I sent it to, why have you not received it?
I was gonna say, then
Can
it
you
was
send
kind of
it again?
crickets
So
on the
then I had to
formal
send it again, and
communication.
then I'm like, okay, I am sending you a stack of things again with receipts from the post office. This is when I sent it, here's where I sent it to, why are you, like, I think a lot of it on their end is they get piles and piles of stuff, and until they go through it or it gets to the right person. And finally, I did send one that had to be signed for, like,
Yep.
I am sending this now, overnight, you will sign for it, like, somebody has to sign for it, so. I think that was, yes, those multiple, because I sent it multiple times.
To multiple different locations.
It's been fun.
I'm sure.
Okay.
The interest charge on there, on the final payment notice, is that something that, like, 'cause there's the amount you owe and then there's the interest. Did they explain what the, term of that interest was from? Like, was that because it's been
So the
6
fee-
years, whatever, 5 years?
Well, the fee is assessed at per person. That
Okay.
was supposed to receive a 1095, X amount of dollars, and then 8% was the interest rate that they
Okay.
charged on that.
So even
I
if it
think
would
they
have been
compounded
paid
that.
January 1st of 2021, it still would have been 83,000.
Yeah, that part
It's
was
the
good.
20,000 that potentially could have been saved
Yes.
by taking care of it immediately.
Yes.
Even though the IRS
Even though
advised.
they did
Even though they
not-
told us not to.
Oh, yeah, there
that's
was
the-
delays. There
but
were
also-
many
That's
delays.
normal.
This
and it's-
happened in January of 2021, and they did not, there was no contact until 2022. So
Yeah,
even at that, there still would have been interest.
yeah,
I mean, it.
yeah.
And if you remember
it's very-
2021,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
2021, they weren't working in the office of the IRS, I don't think, it was COVID. So
Well,
it may have
I don't know,
taken
they
them a
should have been,
while
they were
to
pretty
get
essential.
That the abatement will
At least
Yeah,
take care
potentially
of
get the
the,
interest back or
Yeah.
or some of that
Yeah.
back, yes. It is a tough,
It's just a lot, and I worry about, my initial was, where in the world did that come from?
essentially it's payroll,
Yeah.
because that's what it is.
it's a payroll related expense.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of that, W-2s, 1095s, all of that are connected to payroll related expenses, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not fun, and I understand it's frustrating,
No.
and we've been working on it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I will own the fact that when we started this communication, most of you weren't on the board, it's been on our minds like once every 7 or 8 months when we get something about it, but then when they tell us to continually just wait, well, that's what we've been doing. And so I was not great at communicating, especially to new board members, that we had this.
But the worst part about it is when they make you wait, and they still charge you interest.
And then at the last
Yeah.
minute, and then all of a sudden you get a notice and you're like, wait a minute, you've been telling us to wait. And then all of a sudden you give us X amount of days to get this taken care of, which was a little bit,
My biggest concern on that wasn't necessarily, because obviously mistakes happen and whatever, and who knows, things change. But more of the amount, that $102,000, we were able to just write a check just like that. And it makes me worry about our budget.
Yeah.
Because how are we able to just write it, just take care of it just like that when we are telling our community that we are keeping a good, very modest budget. But
It
yet,
is.
I mean, which to
It's
me,
gonna come
I think of
directly.
$100,000 as a huge amount.
Yeah.
But it's just a drop in the bucket when we're talking about the amount for a school.
Yeah.
But the rest of the community sees $100,000 probably more a lot like I do.
Yeah.
So they're gonna see this and be like, what in the world happened? And how is our budget that extra?
Yeah.
That we're able to do that? That's more what concerns me,
And
is that.
Yeah. So we do budget carryover every year. I mean, we are
Mhm.
trying to increase that carryover every year because it reduces the tax burden, right? So maybe between $2 and $3 million is that carryover in the budget. Like I said, some of that, and then you have that necessary cash reserve
Mhm.
line item. So all of these things are built into your budget for unforeseen expenses. We have been very good about having that amount of carryover every year. We also, there's certain things that are kind of built in as cushions, like our budget for staff expenses is not to the penny. You know what I mean? We do as best as we can, but you round those numbers up
Yeah.
a little bit too.
Yep.
And so when we're looking at like your percentage sheets and everything like that, and you're seeing 75% of the year is done, and we have 70% of our budget and general fund left. And then if you consider like our payroll related payment to the IRS every month is like $127,000, $130,000. So, I mean, this amount goes out with payroll every month.
Okay.
And I'm not downplaying it. I'm absolutely not downplaying it at all, because it is a big chunk.
Mhm.
What we have in the bank can handle it. It'll deplete our carryover that amount, essentially. So we'll just have a little bit less in the bank at the end of the year than we would have we not had to pay that.
Well, hopefully the community would realize that a business of this size, with this kind of cash flow, is gonna have a discretionary emergency fund, which is basically,
Yeah.
it's
that
budgeted
extra.
in for things like this.
Mhm.
It's unfortunate, but every business is gonna run into these kind of things, that
Mhm.
there's never line item specific,
Mhm.
but they have to have a fund to take care of the
Yeah.
contingencies, and that's what we take.
Well, and I don't love it, and it will never happen again.
We really hope it. You can never say never, because you just don't know.
Well, and this happened so long ago, we've just been fighting it.
Thank you for the update.
Well, it's not a great one, but you're welcome.
Okay, agenda item 6, committee report, 6.1, buildings and grounds. I'll turn it over to buildings and grounds committee.
What are we talking about?
Mr. Chairman, sir?
It's up here, so.
Oh, what did we, let's see.
That was Friday that we met,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think everybody got the notes, right?
Yep, I sent that to the full board.
Perfect. We talked about some recurring things, of course, carpet tiles. We're gonna hopefully save some money there by our staff laying those instead of paying somebody else to do it, which is great. Normal things happening this summer, painting, trimming, all that good stuff, fixing the lights or replacing the lights in the parking lot. And then some not super fun things to talk about, which are kind of reoccurring, is the rock parking lot. And a new thing, which would be the winch upgrade in the old gym.
Yeah, and I called it an upgrade in the notes, but it was really more of like a replacement
Yeah.
repair. It's not really an upgrade, it's like, it
No,
just needs to be.
Kind of has
replaced.
to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, no one has any idea how old they are, and that's a little concerning, I guess. So when you have no idea how old something is, and someone tells you, hey, these are about toast, probably need to replace those.
So it's the hoops along the side, it's the winch mechanisms, it's not the two big ones, we looked at those.
I can tell you one time they were put in. When I was in high school in '87,
Okay.
Well, that's,
because we did it as a shop project when we did it.
Did you do you and I could talk off record. I'm curious about the side hoops
So-
lower down to like 6 foot. 'Cause we had
But
Yes.
we did the winches that was a shop project in school in 1987. We put them up.
so that probably.
Now, I'm not saying that them things have been there since 1987,
It
but
don't look like
But it's a
that.
possibility.
it's
Yeah.
a
You
possibility.
did a great job, Tony.
Yeah, way to
You did a great
go.
So we did that as a shop,
I don't know.
I'm serious.
I mean,
We
I
did
like
it as a
that,
shop
but I don't
project.
know if the school would want to incur that liability.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
If you do, you know where to go.
There you go.
I'm just saying in 1987, we did it
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a shop project.
That's great.
But that was
And
one
So
of
that
the
was
things.
for sure
What
one
is
time.
great.
Yeah.
That was for sure one time. Now, I'm just saying, if it ever got done again,
Yeah.
They could very maybe.
You know, I'd have to look at it closer to see, I don't, shit, that's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So what's maybe change that something
Don't-
might be like
don't
the
do the
numbers
math.
and the
Don't do the math.
revenue.
It's 39 years, I don't care.
I was in
Yeah.
high school in '87
It's
too,
great.
but I don't wanna do the math.
But I'm just saying, that was done in 87.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. So there's that. So that's kind of a unfortunate yet kind of necessary evil that we talked about. We did talk a lot about like, is it something that they say, oh, maybe you should think about replacing them, or like it really is needed. So we have the funds available. So we're gonna make sure we get that taken care of, so we don't have to worry about them later on. That actually, I'm not gonna say we're making sure, we're gonna to vote on that because of the price that it came in at. It's over that $10,000 amount. But it is replacing all 4 of them, so that's kind of a big thing there. The other kind of big thing that we talked about was the rock parking lot over by the football field. So obviously we've been dealing with that for years. And you guys feel free to jump in whenever. We received a bid back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for basically to pull back all of the rock and then repack the dirt and then put rock back on it. I just don't know, like looking at it, and you guys obviously, some of you may know more than me. I don't know how that's really going to affect what we're doing. Like, are we potentially spending $50,000 just to spend $50,000? How is it going to change the function of that rock parking lot? Because we're taking rock off to put rock back on.
But I think it's supposed to adjust the slopes.
They're gonna
and
adjust the
grades and
grading.
things like that.
Take roughly, I would assume somewhere around a foot of dirt out of that whole area.
Was it being regraded after
So,
Yeah.
they pulled the rock?
Yes.
but when do we need to take all of the rock off to do that?
So
Yes.
we've got
Or-
people coming in to give us additional
For grading of it?
for the grading and the rock and everything,
Yeah.
so.
Over there in the parking lot, Cass, and look at that building that sits over there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're not moving the dang building.
No, you can't, but you can adjust the
You can
dirt so
adjust
it
the
works.
grade.
I just don't know if we adjust that, it's still gonna run back into, when they changed the grade of the street, when they did all of that, it's backwards. The water runs back into the track. We can only adjust so much. So how are we gonna build up? Like, how is that going to work? Is it going to actually change?
Well, I think that's up to like the experts that actually come and do it to tell us if that can be done.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Are we asking, is it worth our time and money? Or are we asking, can you do it? Because I guarantee that they can do it. But that doesn't mean that it's worth $50,000. So can we do is it gonna, if we spent $10,000 to regrade and even it out or whatever we can to not pull back dirt and rock to put it all back and just compact it more? Like, what does that look like?
You
Is
can't-
that an option?
You can't regrade without removing rock.
I get that, but at some point you can move, like there's rock that can be moved, like are there low spots or are we just like, I just feel like we need
There's
to
high spots.
ask more, yeah, there's high spots so we can knock down, but
Are we regrading due to water flow? Let me ask that question. Is that the
Yes, and
purpose of the
then,
regrade?
like usability of certain sections of the parking
The
lot
end of
as
the
well too.
section, the end down there.
Because it
make
slopes
it
so
actual
steep that you
recruitment,
can't,
So you could park all
Yeah.
the way down.
So it serves two purposes, for
Yes.
water flow and for usability.
yes,
Okay, two. So the usability, that makes sense.
yeah,
The water flow part, is this going to solve all of the water flow problems with the regrade from the first quote we got?
well, we don't have the second or the third quotes yet, so it'll
Yeah.
come back to the committee when we get those.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer to
The
that.
first coat's
Yeah.
gotta be adjusted a little bit, cause that still had tree removal on it, for instance.
Yeah,
The
'cause-
city-
yeah, so it would be
the city took the
$4,000
trees.
less.
yeah,
Those trees
So
were
we don't
gone
have
last
to do
summer.
the tree
Yeah.
removal. But you'll never, on that surface and the way it is, say you can solve the water issue because of
no, well, the
way
track.
torrential range or whatever is gonna, that can't be, it can be made better. And more importantly, you can adjust the grade as it goes all the way, cause there's humps and down and then it dives off, you know, so
Mhm.
that would be what you're looking for. You're still
Yeah.
gonna have, if you get 2-3 inches of rain at night, you're gonna have standing water.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it all runs to,
Yeah.
right behind the visitors, whatever, Stand right there
stands,
with that.
yes. That's the thing,
It all
our
runs
lowest
there.
part is the stands and the track. Like,
Yeah.
everything goes where the stands are.
Everything's higher than everything.
Yeah, so
You
it's,
can also mitigate some of that because if you go look at that right now, there's not a lot of rock out there.
well, and that's one of those things that's gonna be an ongoing thing.
It is,
I
but
mean,
it
we're
has
always
been-
gonna have to be buying rock for up here and for down at the bus barn. That's a maintenance.
It just hasn't been done in a while though, to get
Yeah.
graded, pounded, and when you put the rock down, there's more level, that does keep some water from flowing down. It will
Mhm.
reduce it, it won't stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it helps capture some before it can go down to the level.
Yeah. So we're not voting on that today. We're looking at more bids, but it's just an ongoing thing with that rock parking lot. That will probably almost always be a rock parking lot, so.
So we should
Just
have.
a super fun-
We should be able to have another committee meeting before the July board meeting, we should have those estimates.
Yeah, our hope is to get all those in so we can vote one way or another.
Yeah.
in
To have
July.
some more
So it can be done
background.
before the school.
And to Cass's point, I think for us to understand, when you guys come back to us, is the amount we're paying for on the water flow and how much is that going to alter it? In other words, is this gonna dramatically change our water flow, or is it just gonna be a little bit, to Cass's point, are we paying $50,000? For
Like,
Same
we
thing to
had
happen.
$50,000 worth of damage over the last 10 years on that building, probably not. So I see where you're going.
Yeah,
It also
I know.
depends on how much utility you want out of that lot.
which if we, I mean, and we could talk about this forever, and we'll talk about it more in committee, but that's where we're at. We're still looking at it, but we do, I mean, we want it to look nice, of course, but we also don't wanna just throw money at a problem that someone supposedly can maybe fix. We don't know, we'll just see. So we're getting more information. That I feel like is the most of it. And I'm just gonna say, I love these committee notes. There's that. All of them, I love all the notes. Not just these ones. Okay.
And then we talked about the project, or is that a different?
No, it's on this
Two
too,
more
yes,
things
we
on
had,
Yeah.
the review, the
And-
initial feedback.
Has
Oh,
anybody
yes.
been seeing some of the flyers in the social media or anything around? Have you started to see it?
So I,
Instagram, I think.
yeah, they're on Instagram, Facebook. I also, spoke to, the Bit Enterprise hired a local person here to do some article writing. So I sat down with her today and she kind of interviewed me, so that should be in the next publication of the Enterprise as well, so.
I was told to bring that up in case the board didn't know that we have a
You
local
bet.
person
We
writing.
do, I asked her
Yes.
too, I said, I don't know if their intent is to have you like cover board meetings or anything like that, but I can send you notes and things like that too. So, yeah.
I had a dad write basically for the baseball team this year. His son was on the baseball team, which was great since they had the state. Otherwise, we didn't get much coverage. And so that was very nice of him to take time out of his own
Yeah.
kindness of heart to put those in there. So.
So yeah, there should be, she asked a lot of questions and next step will be like a postcard mailing to the general delivery of the Arlington School District, so everyone should be receiving a postcard. I have not seen the mock-ups of that yet.
I was
have
gonna
not-
say,
as
one of the
soon as I-
things
yeah.
we discussed, and you haven't heard back, that's good, is we need to start forming a conversation and how much is it gonna cost the average household?
Yeah.
Right? So they can not in levy this, levy that. If it's,
Yeah.
my house is $300,000, it would cost me X, I can easily do the math.
And I did talk
Right?
about that in
So-
our
Yeah.
review today, so.
Because, yeah, we can talk levies, but that goes over so many people's heads. We want them to be able to relate, especially since if you look at others, and we talked about the possibility, do we bring up what other systems are doing? Because ours is extremely economical and even, we would dare say frugal compared to the
The
surrounding.
Benningtons and all them.
Yeah, but if you look around at what
And not even
they're
just the
priced at,
Bennington.
Yeah, no,
The
it's-
Fort Calhouns and the
Fort
Lakeviews,
Calhouns,
everybody's, they all
yeah.
have, big.
compared to
They're
what we're
projects.
trying to put the number at, ours is so much lower. We need to be able to communicate that. The question is, as we talk, do we want to bring other names into it? Are we causing enmity with other communities if we bring it in? Or is it just a, hey, this is a comparison, guys? It's fair to show.
Mhm.
So they're.
Because
And
I
their
think it's
budgets are
okay to do
public
that
knowledge,
because you
so-
can look up and find out
Yeah.
what their
It's all
levy is
public
anyway.
record.
So
Yeah.
I think if it was a secret, that'd be a whole different deal.
Yeah.
I think
Because some people we think in town are gonna say, are not very happy about spending any money, as you put it, ever wanting to spend money in the school.
Yeah.
But if they, oh my God, it's $12 million, but if they look at what we're proposing for what we're getting compared to what these other communities are, they say, oh, maybe they'll feel better when they realize it's not 29 or 39 or whatever some of these others are. We're still getting a big bang for our buck.
Mhm. Yeah. The numbers we got back when it came to just like the early numbers, there's been like I'm going off of memory right now, like 175 people that have answered the questionnaire, which not terrible.
That was, but we can.
Yeah, and the response, like percentage between 1 being absolutely no and 5 being absolutely yes, we're right about like a 3.5, maybe a little bit higher
So the
overall.
total, yeah, the total, it was 3.7.
3.7, there you go.
3.77, so it was, and then support for the, like, as the projects broke out, ranged from 4.6 to 3.4.
Yeah, CTE was the high.
I mean, 4.16.
And there
So
was-
everything was neutral or better.
Yeah.
Nothing was trending like, yeah, so,
The most questions we're getting is still about the portico, overhang, whatever you want to call it. We need to be able to
yeah,
tie
we
that,
need to clarify that.
clarify and tie it in architecturally so they understand why we're doing it, that there is drainage, there's all this,
Yeah.
it's not decoration.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it at least cost possible to do that. It's
And
not,
that's
Yeah,
so
we should
many of the
get like an
projects are
actual
interconnected.
picture of what we're thinking, because it'll be a whole lot easier to.
Well, I think sometimes the pictures that are on like the Facebook and Instagram posts are a little deceiving because it's a classroom picture, but what we're talking about isn't necessarily a desk and chair classroom. It's more of like the lab for, the different areas in CTE. So I think that's one of the things that's a little confusing for people as well. So just different stuff.
So they asked us for a file of photos and
Yeah.
they created the posts for us. We just
Mhm.
didn't schedule them to go. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I think they're looking at, they were trying to grab something where they could see students were active.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not every student, right? Like the kids of the picture of the marching band. Doesn't really, you know what I mean? Doesn't really
Yeah.
say what the project is about.
Yeah, so I think that might be a little bit of some of the confusion is people are just looking at a picture and then they're commenting. And some of the comments are so good. So it's just a learning curve too, but it's good data that we're getting in. And then the next
I
steps,
expect it
obviously.
to be better, yeah.
Yeah,
To
just trying to get to
continue
more
grow.
people and I think doing the mailing, the next part with that
Yeah.
will be good because we'll get to those people that don't have social media or that don't follow the school or whatever it might be. So the more information we have, the better it'll get.
I think after the mailings, you're gonna get a much better idea what people say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because right now, like my
It's pretty
example with
skewed.
Dr. Lewis was since I don't have social media,
Mhm.
like if I wasn't on the board, I wouldn't know this was going on.
Yeah.
At all.
But the postcard is will make that difference because
Yeah.
everyone should land
Yeah.
it in their
Yeah,
mailbox.
and that's where you're gonna see where the community's at.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last thing then was the bid for cleaning staff.
Yeah, so we just have the one, Lawrence was trying to get the other one who responded in writing because she had given the verbal bid over the phone and then he was waiting for the third yet. So,
But so far, it's looking pretty good with
Yeah.
the one that is preferred, I would say.
But
Yeah,
it's-
that's
yeah.
one that's, it's being used
that
anyway.
we already have a
They come in
relationship
at
with.
A good price as of right now, just verbally, and they have a good relationship. They already have a good relationship between school and service, so that's a positive too. So
they come out at a very good price and they're guaranteeing the job. And we're not,
Like somebody's showing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
it's-
some-
we don't have to worry
It's
about,
not
oh,
necessarily-
Bob's gone,
Yeah.
so we're down one person. If Bob's gone, they're gonna send Janet. I mean,
a
They're
good
gonna figure it
enough,
out.
a good enough price that we could hire.
Yeah.
At what we're paying by the time we pay benefits. That's the important thing to know.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at those dollars.
Yeah, but
It's hard to
we,
find those
yeah,
bodies
Yeah.
anyway.
yes.
Yeah, it's hard enough to do it. It's hard enough to keep them consistent.
So go to
You
somebody
do
that
hire
has
and
the
they're
dollars.
gone.
Exactly.
You don't have a backup. These guys have backups and we're not paying all the ancillary costs it takes to have an employee.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. That's it.
We will wait more on a lot of different areas though.
Yep.
All right, 6.2 Finance Committee. So we met 2 weeks ago, went over what you'll see later on here, district level budgets, 5 different ones. Myself, Cass and Brian, and then Jen and Dr. Lewis. Yeah, we'll see them later on, pretty straightforward. And then the notes from the committee meeting are in there. I don't want to go into too much detail because we're literally going to discuss them as an action item later on.
Yep.
So. Agenda item 7, unfinished business. 7.1, discuss, consider, take necessary action to approve the library policy on second reading. We talked about this the last board meeting afterwards.
This is the new mandatory language that needs to be in our policy about parents being able to opt into receiving notifications when their children check out books. So this is our second reading of that. Our software has the capacity to do that, and Mrs. Lorsch and Mrs. Lozo know about it.
I move we approve 26-27 handbook changes, the elementary student parent handbook, secondary student parent handbook, staff handbook, and classified staff handbook.
You're on the wrong one.
Please let's not.
Ex-nay that one.
That's what I had like.
No.
I was so excited to get things moving.
7.1, not 8.1.
8.1. I'll help you.
I will remove my.
Okay, I will make a motion to adopt policy 5209, school library materials and parent access on second reading.
Can I
Do it.
second?
Yes.
I'm like, hold on.
You can motion again here.
There we go, there you go. You can read it all again, Liz.
All right, it's been moved second. Thank you, Cass and Steve. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Slygeis.
Yes.
Jason Harvey.
Wow.
Looked at that
Talk
name.
about it later, Jen.
I looked at the name and then.
Yes.
I don't want to be in the middle of this, I don't know. Okay, guys.
Did you say?
I said yes.
Okay, Chase
Yes.
Granville.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was brain looking at one name and trying to say the other one.
We got there.
All right.
Okay, motion carries. Agenda item 7.2, discuss and consider legislative policy updates on second reading. Again, we went over this at the last meeting.
Yes, we did. Again, these are the ones that mandatory updates that came out of legislation. Bulletin boards, purchasing policies, records management, part-time enrollment, admissions, residency contracting, option enrollment, resolution to our option enrollment, attendance, student discipline policy, graduation, annual organizational meeting, and designated method of giving notice. So I went into a little bit more detail on what all of those changes were with you guys last month. I don't know. Does anyone have any particular questions about any one policy? Okay. So when you make this motion, you can say on second reading, without listing them all. I just wanted to be part of the motion, so they're written in there.
Yeah.
And the suggested motion, but you don't have to read them all.
I'll make a motion to adopt the legislative policy updates on second reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Thank you, Cass and Jason. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Steve Slygeis.
Yes.
Jason Harvey.
Yes.
Kathy Plesner.
Yes.
Chase Granville.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Okay.
8, new business. 8.1, discuss, consider, and take necessary action to approve 2026-2027 handbook changes. We talked a little bit about these. Just to clarify, there's some that highlight the changes. There's some that do not. Is there a reason for that?
So Aaron highlighted his changes in his board, in his board update. So, did I copy that and pull it over here? I think I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the first attachment.
And Jackie included a summary of hers. Mr. Shada just emailed a summary of his, but he's here and they're pretty minimal, so I will just let him talk about those if that's all right.
Mr. Shea, what changes do we have when we look through this?
Yeah, good question. So I updated the staffing that you saw just in the report earlier today. And then we had some updates to the lettering requirements for the different sports there.
Can you talk, what page is the changes of lettering?
The lettering requirements are at the very bottom, so I'm gonna get my attachment open. Lettering requirements are 34 through 40. And so with different coaches leading different organizations, we've got some updates there.
Is that a coach's decision through you? Okay, what was the reasons for the changes? Usually we don't see what's why.
To be honest, like some of them, I just had been earnest in before, getting them up to date currently on some of those pieces. So we were talking through that before, and so those are updated to. So we changed coaches. Sometimes I had a previous coach's requirements in there, so I needed to update it to our current coaches board. So those are the changes.
So which one's actually underwent changes? Just, I'm sure you know. but-
Yep. So I'll tell you. Sorry.
No, I should have.
The reason we're asking this is because we don't know what we're voting on.
Sure.
Approve.
Yeah. So the boys and girls golf is the same, and that didn't change. But then I just put them together. Track updated, track requirement. Boys and girls basketball looked very similar, and so that was updated. Janelle and softball had a small tweak to hers, so that was updated as well. We have new cross country coach, so those are what we asked for in there. Boys and girls wrestling are very similar, so those are both in there and updated. Cheer and dance are the same. We have one difference in terms of what they talk about being on time for practice. And baseball was updated as well. So those are your changes there. And then the other change is that I went through and updated the glossary that would correspond to the correct pages for everybody, so that would be more helpful.
That it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions on that from anybody? On any of the handbook changes?
Jackie, I will mention, there's a board member name spelled wrong in the elementary one. So if you will just correct that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great.
With the lettering requirement, so is this going to like be effective for this year,
For the
This
26th.
coming
this coming season?
Yes.
So is this something that gets sent out, because a lot of them talk about weight room attendance and summer weights. So is that something that gets sent out to the kids then right away? Or is that something that of course we hope that they're hitting all those requirements before anyway, but if they don't realize that that's something that's going to affect their lettering until they're already past that opportunity, do you know what I'm saying? Because I
Are
just
summer weights in the new academic year or not?
So
Are summer weights counted for the new, because we're talking about
Yeah.
2026, 2027.
so they count this summer towards this coming school year.
Got it, okay.
And so in the spring, every sport has a informational meeting. If you're gonna play, even if you're gonna play something that, spring not necessarily because they just finished up, but a fall, winter sport, if you're gonna be out for those informational meeting, when camps are, all those things, here's what the letter requirements look like. And 99% of that is verbal, and then this is what we, a lot of it's a handout here. Here's where I need you to be all summer long. And so yes, gone through that.
Like cross country, we just got a new coach there.
So
So how do the athletes aware of the new lettering requirements with summer weights?
yes, yeah.
You sure?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope
You
so.
saw you're
The way you asked me, I'm like, wow, this is-
you're giving me a little Ron Burgundy here.
I just know that it's in the past, it's been one of those things that as a community member that I've heard, as a parent, I've heard where people will say, well, sometimes the kids just need the summer off, or they are doing something else, they have a job, different things like that where they don't go to all of the weights or
Sure.
whatever requirement it is. And then that comes back and it's like, well, you didn't go to every single weight session, so that's why you didn't letter. So keeping a little bit of the continuity through the whole entire program, like through the athletics program, instead of it being like, well, volleyball requires you to go to every single weights and football doesn't, or whatever it might be. That's hard for that I feel like is an area within our school that the kids say, well, we work harder because our coach requires us to go to all these, where your coach doesn't, so you obviously don't work harder. And I feel like that might be a thing that's causing a little bit of rift within our students as well. Like I get if you're the coach and this is how you're gonna run your program, that's great, but where does the who's in charge? Instead of just the coach, where does the school step in and say, these are our requirements for lettering? Because it's the school's letter. It's not that coach's letter, it's the school's letter. So that's where I wonder are we just letting are we changing these things all the time just because someone says, hey, I wanna change this? And there's no consistency throughout our school? That's where I guess draw a little bit of concern on changing these things all the time, it feels like. Which I get, there's gonna be things that with different coaches, they have different requirements. They're gonna be weighted different. But then how are we explaining that to our kids, making sure that they understand it, and then carrying that through with all of our kids and not just certain programs?
I can share that up with you, thank you.
Well, yeah, but I think you're doing, as long as it's out there, they're different. It's gonna be different, life's different. You can't have one standard. And if they complain it's not fair, you tell them fair is where you give where to do a pig, life's not fair.
Yeah, but when we're talking about fair within our student, I'm not saying it's not fair, it's that I feel like it's causing unnecessary rift within our kids.
Well, then
When we have different programs that have completely different sets of rules within their programs, I'm talking about like within like boys basketball and girls basketball, or a fall sport from one fall sport to another fall sport. Where is that all coming together and being, we're one school, we all support each other? Like, is that allowing all these coaches to do all these different things and not having a set lettering requirement part of the problem?
I don't think you can have a set lettering requirement. Because then you can't have individual things that they have listed on there, because not every sport does the same individual thing. I think it's up to the coaches and the athletic director's discretion on how to say.
Yeah.
That's the way I mean.
I just don't remember, they're gonna be different. I just don't remember, when you guys were in school, do you remember there being all, like, if you were on varsity, if you placed it, like, there was the requirements for each sport were pretty cut and dry. But it was that way across the board. If you placed at a meet, you placed at X amount of meets, you were lettering. If you played at X amount of varsity games, you were lettering. It was pretty straightforward. And now I feel like there's all these extra pieces of, well, did you come to 8 weights or did you come to 7? Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
just
think
different.
he's actually giving the kids a broader avenue to letter.
Yeah.
Because it used to be just playing time.
Mhm.
That's what it was for me.
Mhm.
Back in,
What it was for me.
the
In ours.
80s.
Yeah.
Back when men were men and,
Yeah, so
A few
now,
years ago.
now we've got all these other
requirements, you can maybe not play much, but if you did everything else, you could still letter because you're part of the team. So
Yeah.
I think we're actually getting more opportunity, and I don't have any personal issues with
You know,
them being
it's-
able to make it different.
And everyone's gonna have like a different, even from classroom to classroom, what looks like an A, what looks like a B, or what are my requirements for you to, or all your points on this, whatever. Teachers have, like, it doesn't always match from English to math to science, you know.
But an A is
based
still
on
an
how-
A, you know what I'm saying? When it
It
comes
is,
to
but there are different ways to earn
academics.
it, but there's different ways to earn it based on
Yeah.
the different teacher and their classroom. So I think, like, the coaches have had the autonomy to build their programs of the way they have seen. So I think that's what Mr. Shada is trying to adjust to is let's let the coaches build their program the way they believe in building it and the way they want to do it. And I understand what you're saying, but it's also not the same. Like cross country, there's going to be like different philosophies about weightlifting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if a cross country coach is told all of your kids have to attend summer weights or whatever it is to letter, that's different. And they don't play a game, so you're not getting playing time. You're running races. So
Yes.
sports are also different. So the requirements for lettering shouldn't all be exactly the same
Yeah.
either. Just because
Yeah.
there's different physical and structural requirements of the games. So I mean.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that when we have changes, that those are articulated from the coaches down to the athletes and the parents.
Right.
And not just, well, it's in a policy handbook.
No, I agree with you 100%.
We didn't know,
Yeah.
we changed it. So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
agree with
biggest
you
thing is
100%.
communication on this, on any changes, so.
Because if you look at grades and you think about it, there's some class, if you could say, well, 94 and above is an A, that's it, that's our policy. That's fine, but then inside individual classrooms, some teachers will allow you to do makeup tests. Or if you're late on an assignment, you can make up that word. Others are like, nope, you don't hit that date, it's a 0. So there's subtleties
That's
in
just rigor and
everything. You
grading
can have
too, and yeah.
larger things, but everything's gonna be different.
Which one was, Jackie, which one of yours is like the overview or whatever? I think I keep getting the
Mine's
same.
the top.
Updates.
Updates.
Updates to
Oh.
student handbook.
I think I opened that and I thought it was Mr. Kingston's. Okay.
They look
But they're
similar.
similar.
Yeah, okay. So I'm like,
And again, you'll see updates that are similar because some, like clearly, Mr. Fingston's handbook is not going to refer to K through 2 suspension of students.
Yep.
So that was like a legal change that Jackie made there, so.
Yeah, I did not have a lot, more than dates, and I apologize because I was looking at the last names, I'm like, oh no, I did have 2 N's in Shannon's name for the last couple of years because I didn't change any of the names on the board, so my apologies to Shannon. Where you're at, hope it's warm, sorry.
Just on a work trip.
Yeah, just, I mean, the biggies, obviously mission statement changed, so that's changed throughout, and then, the shorts part we added on our side too, just to clarify, so it's across the board.
And it trickles down.
Yep, and it trickles down, I deleted a couple of things that had been in there about dance requirements, which is super funny, I think that it must have come from somewhere and I had it in there, but we don't let the little ones go to prom, so I took that out of the elementary one. And then like lots of weird stuff.
Daddy-daughter dance.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it specifically said prom, like we can't invite 22-year-olds to proms or something, there's some requirements about, and I don't know, in the elementary one, I don't know.
Not necessary.
I don't know, so that's out of there, and then just resolving some of those spacing issues, and then I do the classified handbook as well, not big changes. Some changes to, breakfast times and lunch times that changed from last year. And then really just dates and spacing all over the place, and I added Mr. and Mr. Kingston on there. It said Dr. Jacqueline Morgan and Aaron Kingston. So I put you on there, now you're a Mr.
Thank you.
Yep, you're
I've
welcome.
been waiting for that.
I
change
know,
for years.
I know, every day I think that you look at that going, why has she not changed it? So I did it, I changed it, you're welcome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve elementary student parent handbook, middle school, high school student parent handbook, classified staff handbook, and coaches sponsors handbook for 2026-2027 as presented.
Sorry.
Okay, who are we going on the second? Okay. All right, so move in second. Thank you, Brian. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Jason Up,
Yes.
Cassie Plesner,
Yes.
Chase Craddock.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Cycles.
Yes.
Motion carries. Agenda item 8.2. Discuss, consider taking a share action, approve district level budgets. As I said earlier, finance committee met 2 weeks ago to go over the district level budgets. Those are all attached.
I can do a brief overview.
Okay.
Of what so in general, I'm just gonna talk big broad generalities. The technology budget is up $150. Curriculum and implementation of instruction, improvement of instruction is down $466. And transportation is up $38,894. The change in the budget there is the cost of fuel increasing and then budgeting for 2 minis and 2 large vans. If we have to take one of those small vans out or buy something out of depreciation, we certainly could, but that's the change in that budget there. Maintenance and facilities is up $3,200. 200 of that is like our property liabilities with alley cap. So $1,200 amounts to like an extra $500 for like the lower trade-ins that we do every year, because that just went up a little bit, and some small increases like that. And then the general fund athletics is up $3,800 in the 077, which is the athletic supplemental. And then $500 in the athletics rounds, which is just for the additional, the price increase for like overseeding the grass. So those are the broad generalities. Overall, they're pretty good. I felt really good about our ability to stabilize those. Just that transportation, I mean, a lot of that is fuel, and we're just not sure what's going to happen there. And then we still have to replace 2 of those large vans for sure, because January 1st is that cutoff date. So we won't be able to use 2 of the ones that we currently have in our fleet that are still useful. So we gotta get rid of them. And then we just, our minis have a lot of miles on them, and they're starting to become less reliable than we would like them to be, so. And I didn't mean to step on your toes there, Chase, I just had written down some notes, and I thought that would be easier to go on them all.
Did anybody outside of, finance community see anything in there they want questions or clarifications on? Like Dr. Lewis said, pretty straightforward, some decreases and then some increases, and on increases, kind of stuff we need to replace or due to, where things are at in the world or, just some other, the increases all have contextual reasons for them, is the best way to say it. So.
Well, kudos to keeping the budgets at or lower than the rate of inflation are going down, except for the
We
capital.
tried, we tried.
Way to go, finance committee and administration.
So, with that, I'll make a motion to approve district level budgets as presented.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Cassie Fleisner.
Yes.
Chase Credible.
Yes.
Brian Longer.
Yes.
Steve Slyheis.
Yes.
Jason Arp.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Agenda item 8.3, discuss, consider, take necessary action to transfer $30,000 to hot lunch from general fund. So we talked, Dr. was pretty much kind of give all the context on this, with where things were at contextually with hot lunch and food, the last couple of years. I think we all kind of knew, that we're on the board 4 or 5 years ago that this was going to turn a corner at some point, and it just kind of did. So that's kind of where we're at. Obviously, I would say we're probably a unique school district where this happens a lot more routinely. At other school districts, this is one of the first times we've had to do it. So we've been pretty fortunate there. Any other context after this that you want to add?
No, I would just agree that it's the first time that we've made that transfer since I've been here. So, but yeah, it is. It's very regular for school districts to maybe even have a monthly budget transfer from the general fund and hot lunch. So we've been fortunate, but we're getting a little less funding from the state than we had. We had that reduction. And you know, when we had that carryover with CARES Act funding and those things that went to hot lunch when they paid for the meals for a year, that was a huge excess, but they made us spend it. So, you know, this is where we're at. We've been fortunate. We did budget for the transfer, so it was built in.
Yeah, so I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to transfer $30,000 to hot lunch from the general fund.
Second.
Thank you, Steve and Brian. It's been moved to second. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Chase Credible.
Yes.
Brian Longer.
Yes.
Steve Slyheis.
Yes.
Jason Arp.
Yes.
Cassie Fleisner.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Agenda item 8.4, discuss, consider, take necessary action to approve 25-26.
This is, yeah, so I'm just, so we're talking about so many different figures. I added it in as this is the current year budget.
Got it.
So we need to
Okay.
buy them out of the current year budget. This is not for next year. This is not part of next year's budget. This is in our budget. This year, it's just at an amount where we have to have board approval before we can make that purchase.
We see a lot of tech purchases over the years. So Dan and Dr. Lewis work on those. Dr. Lewis, did you have any?
Like I said, this is built into our budget, so we knew, that we're going to need to spend it. We have the money left in line items. You have iPad quote 1 and quote 2. Quote 2 is a higher amount, and if we purchase from them, we have to go through a third party to get it's called Mosul. This is something that, Dan talks about and he knows about. So we want really to go with the iPad quote that is less expensive and enables us to just seamlessly flow right on in.
This seems fairly easy.
Yeah.
This is, and if anyone's, this is grades K through 2. Oh, I put it up there.
Jackie, can you answer a question on this iPad? So I just have to ask, so on a basic day-to-day basis, how much do kids using an iPad?
It kind of varies. Currently with iReady, they spend about 10 to 15 minutes twice a day on there, once for reading and once for math, for sure. They might spend another, total in a day, probably 30 minutes a day. And that would be like with their station work that they do too, spread out throughout the day. I'd say anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes a day.
Okay, I'm just asking the question. I don't have any idea. I'm just throwing it out there, just, I get,
Yeah, it's a great question. And I would say that's a hard one too, because it varies. If there are days where they're doing more hands-on stuff, they're gonna use those less. We do all of our testing on iPads for K through 2, just because mouse operation is a bit tricky.
Yeah, they don't have
Especially with-
laptops.
Yeah, especially with K1, mouse negotiation gets a bit dicey, but, yeah, they don't have laptops. 3 through 6 have laptops, and so this is what those little ones use.
All right, I'm just asking the question. I get
It's a great
asked the question
Yeah.
by the people, and so it's just a
It's
question
a great
I
question.
need to ask. And
I would say rough estimate between 20 and 30 minutes a day.
I think you might have been out the one meeting where we had,
Post testing.
the teachers were in on that, and they were very aware that parents are concerned about the time, they're concerned about the time.
It's a question I get asked.
No, that's
Yeah.
it's a good question, but they're cognizant and they make sure that that's not the focus, right? Is that fair to
100%,
say?
yeah, 100%.
Because we asked them about that.
I would say that our
There you
teachers
go.
are hyper vigilant too on like, we're only on if it's academically something we're doing. Like, we're not on just, hey, I'm working with a reading group, so you go work on that iPad for 30 minutes. That is not what they do.
Okay.
And there has been a bigger shift away from that. I mean, I would say 5 to 10 years ago, it was more of a push for like, get them on electronics because they need to know how to manipulate and do these things. We know that kids are getting plenty of exposure to electronics in the world. And so whenever possible, we're doing more hands-on and face-to-face. Obviously, some of the things that we do, they do on iPads and things. So I think it's a great question, and it's a great
Kudos to
time
you.
to.
I just get asked the question, and I wanted to add that maybe I must have been out. Maybe
No,
that's-
I
just wanted
I
you to
get the
know.
questions too, which is great. I think it is incumbent upon us
It's a
as
concern we
parents.
all have.
Yeah, and as parents and as educators to consistently reevaluate all the things that we're doing to make sure we're making the best choices we can with the information that we have. So
Sure.
I think it's a great
I
question.
get asked the questions.
Nope.
I had to ask, so.
We all get that, so that's good.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-26 budgeted purchase for iPads and cases as presented from the general fund for $69,795 from Apple Education.
Second. It's all you, Jason. Been moved and seconded. Thanks, Cassie. Jason, is there any further discussion? Let's move.
Brian Walker,
Yes.
Steve Slighthice,
Yes.
Jason Arnold,
Yes.
Cassie Plessman,
Yes.
Chase Craddock.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Agenda item 3.5, discuss and consider take necessary action to activity past test for 2026-2027. Dr. Lewis, Mr. Shane.
And Jen was kind of involved in this
Okay.
conversation too. So our activity pass prices have not gone up since
At least 10 years.
at least 10 years.
That was my question.
And so when we look at, because this helps fund the activities fund, right? So, and it ebbs and wanes based on the year, how many you actually sell. The prices have not increased. If a family of just 3, like 2 parents and a child, purchase a family pass for $170 and they attend 7 events, probably can store itself just like that, at that
Oh, I'm sure it
$175.
does.
Yeah, because, our gate prices went up, but our activity prices did not. Our gate passes went up a couple of years ago, to $5 and $7 to align with what everybody in the conference was doing, but we did not change. the
What, you
price
said
of
gate
activity
prices
passes.
are what now?
They're $5 for students and $7 for adults.
Okay.
So,
For varsity games.
for
5 and
varsity.
4 for a non-varsity game.
So, but at that point in time, that was probably 3 years ago already, but activity
Yeah,
passes
these-
did not go up at that point in time. It's just time, and we need to do something to save that money. So,
Makes sense. I'll make a motion to set 2026-2027 activity pass prices as discussed.
Second.
Move second, thank you, Steve. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
Steve Slighthice,
Yes.
Jason Arnold,
Yes.
Cassie Plessman,
Yes.
Chase Craddock,
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Agenda 8.6, discuss consider taking necessary action to approve winch upgrade in the auxiliary gym as presented. Putting the grounds, talked a little bit about this. The only question I had was, obviously it's close to the amount the board has to approve. Is there other bids for equipment like this?
I don't know that there is another company. So this is the sports facility maintenance, comes around every year. It does our inspections, it does little repairs and things like that. So they gave this to us saying you need to replace it and this is what it costs. So we could delay, we could try and get some other bids. I don't know who else. This is the one that comes around and maintains them for us as well too. So Mr. Shada, do you know of any other group who comes around and
We've
does
had,
that?
like, it's come up in our conference AD meetings, and almost everybody in our conference uses this. They're, I believe, out of Ashland-ish area.
It's
So the
Omaha is their
problem-
address, but
If anything happens to them, they don't worry.
No,
An
that's
outside
exactly right.
winch. If they don't, if it's not,
They don't
Something
warranty the
basic
basket
wise.
straps that are on there right now either.
yeah,
That's the problem.
1987.
We needed Ryan's lot.
Yeah.
warranty.
Why is this dated January?
Because they gave us the bid in January for the summer work, when they came around and did the
After
last
they did the
inspection.
inspection.
They did the inspection, they gave us the estimate. Knowing it would be summer work, because you'll see, and they missed up, but like the estimate date, yes, is January, but then if you look at ship date, it's July, so they anticipated it.
Of 2020.
I know, that was,
yeah.
I believe someone transposed those numbers, I believe someone transposed
This
those
isn't gonna
numbers.
be an issue, but I think, somewhere down the road, we just need to start talking about bids and the number of bids we receive. Obviously, a company that inspects something and then gives you a bid, they kind of have a monopoly on the system.
Yeah, I think they have a monopoly on this
On the
entire market in the
state,
region, to be
yeah.
honest.
But I think given the context, obviously this is gonna go through, but I think a larger conversation around bids needs to take place going forward.
And I think we're doing a good job getting lots of bids on lots of different things. This just came directly from them like that. And, you know, we definitely have policies as well too. But
I will make a motion to approve the winch upgrade and auxiliary gym as presented for $11,280 from sports facility management.
Second.
Cass, Jason has been moved to second. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Plesner,
Yes.
Teresa Crandall,
Yes.
Brian Longer,
Yes.
Steve Zeitgeist.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We will adjourn at 8:54 PM.